the district really is the conscience of the natural resources and the county's natural resources, especially its land and water resources. So the district is not known by a lot of people, but its mission is very, very important, I feel.
Look at your name, Summit Soil and Water Conservation. That's kind of important. Number one, soil. There's roughly average 5 to 10 inches of topsoil across the whole world that we rely on to live. Water, although like 71% of the planet's covered with water, between 0.3 and 0.4 of 1% of all the water on Earth is accessible, potable, and renewable. It's very scarce. We're in a very water-rich area, the Great Lakes watershed. 21% of the world's fresh water is here, so Summit County is largely within that watershed. We're very resource-rich, so we better take care of it, because other countries are not, and other parts of this country aren't nearly as fortunate and generously blessed.
I think our natural resources are critical for our survival, and I think leaving the world a better place is something that we all should be doing for the next generation.
For the district was when they were selected for #1 in the National Education Program. And Kelly and I went to Washington, D.C. to get the and it was a thrill. And it was so well put together, I'm going to say, with quality people that wanted it to happen.
The office was made up of 6 individuals, me included. It just so happened that the other 5 individuals happened to be the opposite sex. That was an enlightening time period, not only in my life, but also in my career, okay? So I truly understood the term minority, okay? We got along great. I mean, supposedly at one time, the federal employee, the district conservationist at the time, was kind of the leader of the office or ran the office. That changed over time. And with 5 women, you knew I was never in charge anyway. So I accepted that responsibility. I was very well trained by my mother, so I had no problem with that. Okay. But the most interesting thing that happened is during that tenure time with 5 women, 1 man, they all got pregnant. But there was days when I would walk in there and they're all together, right? They would look at me and they say, "You need to go to the field." Okay? And I would go to the field, okay?
On a personal level, it's seeing my kids climb the black walnut trees that I purchased at Summit Soil and Water Conservation District. You know, I climbed them with them, and that was kind of neat.
So, I can go back the full 75 years, but I'd say that from my perspective, I think the workshops that have been done, in this building and throughout to help educate not just designers, but the contractors, myself, and other developers as well too. I think it's really cool because far too often SWIP is just this piece of paper, right? It's the back 6, 8, 10 pages of a set of plans that no one looks at. But having the workshops where they bring in real life examples, pictures, videos, maybe even there's a site visit or something that they can say, hey, here's where on paper the intent of what it was supposed to be and what it was supposed to look like, but hey, we got out here, it didn't work properly. And it's really important what they do with that.
The biggest one during my whole tenure was the urban conservation thing. We went from, like I said, kind of an educational thing. We wrote reports, and to be honest, a lot of people weren't reading them and everything, to where we got and it was a county engineer, Paul Swanson, really came to the district and supported us. And he was handling all the drainage. He wanted us to handle the erosion control. And he backed us in the county, at the planning commission and so forth. And so that made us powerful enough that developments weren't approved unless we approved the stormwater pollution prevention plan. Second of all, he would back us up if we went out and they weren't implementing the erosion control, the stormwater pollution prevention plan. We would write letters, and we couldn't close them down, but Paul could because he was the county engineer. When you can close an operation down, stop them, now you've got a program.
Riparian setback ordinance, one of the first counties in the country to have an ordinance that we were told it couldn't be done, but that didn't stop our county council. It didn't stop Joan Hug Anderson, who was our stream person at the time, and critical in writing that ordinance. And I think that probably one of the most impactful from the standpoint of water quality and also protecting landowners from flooding.
It's really important as far as the environment that we have. They're starting to find out that farming has minute minerals out of the soil, and they're starting to figure out how to reproduce that minimum minerals in that soil. And someone would ask me how old I am, and I say, well, right now I'm 87. They say, well, how much longer are you going to live? So I said, well, 5 years. So far, so good. And they said, well, you look real healthy. I would say, I grew up on a farm. I ate dirt. And so I ate some of those minerals that we're not getting now. And they're starting to think about that.
I feel that the district is really in a position to take a leadership role in the protection of watershed issues in the county. And I feel that these issues have become very important in the last 5 to 10 years, but those watershed issues are really only going to become more and more important as time goes on. I always think of a former board member who was the county engineer and who kept reminding people that stormwater is really a utility, and it's never been treated as a utility, and it needs to be treated as a utility.
I think soil and water, it's important for them to stay around and keep doing what they're doing with regards to the educational component and collaboration. I think they are very relevant because without the educational component, you can have a developer or a contractor go in and create something and do something, but if no one understands what it is, such as a bioretention basin or a rain garden, then it's almost meaningless because they won't understand what it is, therefore they won't maintain it and keep it in place.
Keep doing what you're doing. Don't let an old man like me get in your way. Just roll me over. Teach me some stuff.
There are a lot of people that are interested in conservation, doing something better. And yearly articles that you put out, monthly articles, it gives them an opportunity to see that something can be done.
Keep up the collaboration and the hands-on. I think it's important to not just be on a piece of paper to say, here's the notes, here's the details, here's the specs and plans of what you're supposed to do, but talk to everybody throughout the whole process. I'd encourage, and I've tried to on my end with the folks that we sell lots to, is when the home builders are selling to the potential homeowners, they make them aware of these riparian areas. Get the pamphlets out, make it part of the sales process, put it into homeowners' declarations and everything like that, that they can see, there's an importance for maintaining and keeping these things up and why.
Well, the current staff is awesome. Some changes since I retired, which is all good and positive. The staff is growing. Great fleet of vehicles. I don't know why we didn't have pickup trucks when I was with the district, but just keep it up. Keep up the good work.
It's always cheaper to keep water clean in the first place than to pay to clean it up after it's been polluted. Don't take clean water for granted. Protect it.
I think pretty simply, just follow your passion and keep the district in that position of being the best, if not the best, soil and water district in the state.